Hello. I want to tell you a story about one of the most famous figures in world history, Alexander the Great, a god king. What do you know about him? Was he a tyrant and a conqueror, or a leader who united the world? Let's start from the beginning. A boy once tamed a horse feared by all, whispering calm into its wild heart. That same boy would, within a decade, shake the world's foundations. But who truly was Alexander the Great? A conqueror drunk on ambition, or a visionary who dreamed of uniting mankind? His story begins not with a sword, but with a whisper of destiny. The beginning in Pella. Alexander was born in 356 BC in the golden chambers of Pella, Macedonia's capital. His father, King Philip II, was a man of brutal strategy and fierce charisma. He'd bent the Greek city-states to his will. His mother, Olympias, descended from Epirus royalty, whispered to her son tales of gods and heroes. She believed herself descended from Achilles, and taught Alexander that his blood too was divine. He wasn't like other boys. At 13, his father entrusted his education to the philosopher Aristotle. The great thinker filled the boy's mind with logic, ethics, medicine, and poetry. But one book struck deepest: Homer's Iliad. Alexander would sleep with it under his pillow, annotated by Aristotle himself. The first flames of glory. By 16, while Philip was off campaigning, Alexander crushed a Thracian rebellion, founded a city, Alexandropolis, and tasted command. At 18, he led the cavalry at the Battle of Cheronea, striking a decisive blow. But before long, destiny arrived cloaked in tragedy. Philip was assassinated, perhaps with Olympia's knowledge. In the palace's marbled corridors, the young prince became king at 20. Rivals were swiftly eliminated. Greek city-states that questioned his rule were silenced with steel or diplomacy. He now turned east, toward Persia. Crossing into legend, in 334 BC, he crossed the Hellespont with 35,000 soldiers and a singular goal: conquer the Persian Empire. His first test, the Battle of Granicus, proved his mettle. Outnumbered, he charged across a river, scattering Persian forces. In the heat of battle, his helmet was cleaved. His life nearly ended, but destiny clung to him like a shadow. In Gordium, he encountered the fabled knot. Whoever unties it, the oracle had said, shall rule all Asia. Alexander simply cut through it. The sword, not patience, would open the world. The empire trembles. At Issus, in 333 BC, Alexander faced Darius III's vast army. Again, strategy triumphed over size. Darius fled, leaving behind his mother, wife, and daughters. Alexander treated them with royal dignity. Honor won him where the blade could not. Then came Tyre. The island fortress resisted. For 7 brutal months, Alexander built a causeway across the sea, breaching its walls. It was not just war, it was obsession. In Egypt, the priests hailed him as a liberator. At Siwa Oasis, the oracle called him son of Zeus Ammon. Alexander began to believe he was more than mortal. Climax at Gaugamela, 331 BC. The plains of Gaugamela shimmered with Persian steel. Darius returned, commanding an army that dwarfed Alexander's. But again, the young king's tactics outmatched numbers. He broke through the center, scattering Persian resistance. Darius fled, only to be murdered by his own men. Alexander, upon finding the body, wept. He draped it in royal purple, sent it home for burial with honor. He was now indisputably king of Asia. Eastward to the edge, His empire stretched beyond comprehension, but Alexander wanted more. He pushed into India, confronting King Porus at the Hydaspes River. The battle was fierce, with war elephants shaking the earth. Alexander triumphed, but spared Porus, even appointing him as governor. Respect could conquer, too. Yet his army had reached its limit. At the Hyphasis River, they mutinied. The dream of reaching the ends of the earth, forever out of reach. The long road back. The return was brutal. Through the Gedrosian desert, many perished. Alexander shared their suffering, once pouring out water offered to him, refusing to drink what his men could not have. Back in Babylon, he began to fuse cultures, wearing Persian robes, appointing local administrators, orchestrating mass marriages between his men and Persian women. Many resisted, but Alexander believed in a single world, united in blood and culture. The Great Fall. Then Hephaestion died. Alexander's soul shattered. He built shrines, demanded deification for his friend, and wandered the palace in grief. Some say this broke him more than any battle. In 323 B.C., after a banquet and a sudden fever, Alexander fell ill. He whispered orders, drifted in and out of consciousness. He died days later, aged only 32. His final words? To the strongest, the body and the mystery. His generals fought over his corpse just as they fought over his empire. Ptolemy stole the body, bringing it to Egypt. It lay in Alexandria, golden, embalmed. Caesar wept before it. Caligula stole its armor. Then, silence. The tomb vanished. Its location, one of history's great mysteries. Legacy in blood and stone. No heir was ready. His wife, Roxana, was pregnant. Alexander IV would be murdered, so would Olympias. The Diadochi, his generals, carved up the empire. Ptolemy ruled Egypt. Seleucus took Persia. Cassander seized Macedon, but none forgot him. Coins bore his image. Cities bore his name. His legend outlived his empire. The fusion of worlds. He had planted seeds, literally and figuratively. His soldiers stayed behind, married locals. Greek ideas mingled with Persian, Indian, and Egyptian thought. In Afghanistan and Pakistan today, isolated tribes speak of a white king from the west. Greek became the lingua franca. Alexandria rose as a beacon of knowledge. A new age dawned, the Hellenistic era. The inner man, yet beneath the empire builder, was a seeker. He studied with sages in India, asked philosophers about the nature of life. He sent plant samples to Aristotle, mapped rivers, and sketched cities. He dreamt of a world stitched together by ideas, not just war. One philosopher once asked him, "And after you conquer the world, what then?" Alexander had no answer. Perhaps, deep down, he wondered too. The eternal march. More than 2,000 years later, the boy from Pella still rides through history, not just in books, but in the way empires are built, the way cultures blend, the way dreams reach beyond boundaries. He was brilliant. He was brutal. He was visionary. He was flawed. But in chasing gods, he became one. Alexander the Great, forever young, forever riding, forever great. I'm sure you like this story. Subscribe to the channel and like it. And don't forget to leave your comment about this story. See you in the introductory story.